Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Please leave below in the comments where you're from, where you're watching from. Again, this is the continuation in the real estate study guide for those who are planning on becoming a realtor in the future for the salesperson position. They have to take a test, and this study guide should help you in passing your test. I'm getting ready to take mine. I already have it in one state, so I'm getting ready to take it in another state. So I'll be taking it with you. Anyway, I'm going to go off, and I'm going to go off camera, and we're going to go through this together. Thank you for watching, liking, subscribing. Thank you. Okay. Okay, for those of us who like the idea of being close to the neighbors, or maybe your parents drilled that sharing lesson into you when you were a kid, common interest ownership properties can be a good way to own real estate. The good news is you got choices when it comes to which kind of common interest ownership you want to buy. A condo, a townhome, a co-op, and there's something out there for everyone. So in the next few lessons, we're going to discuss townhome, condominium, cooperative, and timeshare living and the difference. One will be townhome living, or lesson 1, townhome living. Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to take a closer look at townhouses, townhomes. Spend a little time with Lila, who tells us about the advantages and disadvantages of townhome living. I can tell you from hands-on that as well as Lila. I can tell you that also. Okay, so the townhome pros and cons are an HOA fee, by the way. And you got like a handful of people trying to tell you what to do with your property. But I'm not going to go on a venting spree with that. Assume you have clients who've been working for a few years and you saved up enough money to purchase a house, but do not want the responsibility or cost of owning a single-family detached home. So they think the townhome might be a ticket, which is correct. If you don't want to take care of grass and yard work, that could be an advantage of a townhome. All right, so let's look at each of these statements and decide whether it's an advantage or disadvantage. And this could be different for each people, but let's think about it in terms of the real estate test, okay? Not our personal opinions. All right, we can go back in here for the lesson resources and look and we'll see what they have for that too. HOA dues could be a disadvantage. The HOA covers the roof repairs. That could be an advantage. Smaller front and backyards to maintain could be a disadvantage. You share one or more walls with neighbors could be a disadvantage. I don't even need a lesson resource because I've got life to answer these questions. But if you need a lesson resource, excuse me, we will click on this just so you can look at it and it might help you. If you need to take a picture of any of this to help you remember, be sure and do that. If you need any of these resources, you can visit me on my website and contact me and tell me. It's important for townhome owners to have a clear understanding of what is required for them as owners and if restrictions are placed on the property. So when you're getting ready to sell a house, it's important to get all your disclosures, the HOA rules and regulations, and present them to your clients, their buyers, if you're working with a buyer, because they don't want to get in there and get surprised and then they'll never hire you again to buy or sell your home. So make sure you get all the rules and regulations. You can go to the HOA and request it. Some of them make you pay a fee, but it's very important that you have all the restrictions, regulations, guidelines, and they should give you an estimate of the money and what they're doing with the money that you're giving them every month. It's important that they know what they're responsible for and what they're not before they even make a purchase. Okay, let's see if we're right. Let's check our answers. We actually got one wrong. Smaller front and backyards to maintain is an advantage. Okay. All right. This is a disadvantage. This could be an advantage. HOA disadvantage and advantage. Okay, let's try it again. Okay. So if you want to take a picture, you can go ahead and look at that. Okay, we're going to do condo living. And I've lived in a townhome and a condo both. And they're almost the same, except the condo is more like an apartment. Okay, let's spend some time with Rocco, who knows the advantages and disadvantages of condo living. Okay. He has no interest in yard work because he's single and he travels a lot. He likes to go out of town. So his ownership dues are a disadvantage, but he has a secure building. No yard work, which is an advantage. Potential investment property, yeah, that's a good advantage. So that could definitely be an advantage. Not responsible for upkeep and maintenance of the building. All right, let's look at the resources and see what this says. A condominium is a home ownership and a convenient, secure package. There's no yard work, no shoveling snow in the winter, no salesperson or political canvasser knocking on your door. That's because the buildings are usually secure and the upkeep and maintenance of the common areas are somebody else's headaches. But because they're low maintenance, condos can make good investments in the right market. You can lease them out, you can buy it and rent it out to somebody else. Many owners like the condo ownership because it is ownership in real property, unlike a cooperative where all you own is a share. The buyer completes an application and arranges financing. When a condo is built, the developer creates a condominium declaration, which has a description of the property and the dues discussed. The owners adhere to the condo rules set in the bylaws, covenants, conditions, and restrictions. And this could place restrictions on subletting use of common areas. It states who's responsible for repair and maintenance and how the ownership is taken care of. Because condos are real property, ownership rights are fee simple. So if you're listing it, you would list it as fee simple for condominiums. Just like any other property, there's a title search, a deed transfer, and recording. And let me just add, as living in a condo for 5 or 6 years, that they are good investment property, and you might just want to buy them for that purpose. And my condo specifically had like a huge HOA fee, but it also included the water. And some of these condos have swimming pools, fitness centers, and they also keep the main common areas up. And they include the water. So the HOA fees can get extremely high in some of these condos. So you need to be aware of that. You need to make sure you check that for your buyer, and they're going to be able to afford it. Because if some of these condo fees could be $300 to $500 a month, which can significantly change. They might not even be able to afford it, if the HOA fees are too high. So these are just some of the things to look for in these condos. Townhomes, I don't see them as high as condos because you don't have water bill included in them, some of your utilities, and some of the newer ones have these fitness centers and swimming pools, which make the costs go up, but some of them don't. So let's check our answers. Okay, and we got all them done. So if you wanted to take a picture real quick, just to refresh your memory. There you go. Okay. Okay, co-op living is next. And I have never owned a co-op and never plan on it because you really don't own it. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, assume you have a young couple as clients who are interested in living in a place with other like-minded individuals, but they don't know anything about co-ops. How would you describe the facts of co-op living to them, the pros and cons? So let's go over here and look at our resources. Co-op living. They look like condos, but they're often on the same type of buildings and in the same street. And the main difference is how residents own them. A condo is fee simple. However, a co-op is a nonprofit cooperative corporation that owns the land, buildings, and all the rights and interests in the corporation. Individual shareholders, which are the units or owners, don't own the real estate and don't receive a deed for the property. Instead, they own corporate shares, which are considered personal property. And unlike shares in a stock, owners can thus divest themselves in the shares. Their arrangement means co-op ownership isn't fee ownership simple. And like the condo ownership or traditional real estate purchase, residents have a lease from the corporation for the units they occupy. The lease unit, owners with the right to use the property live there and to share the benefits of living there. But they may not have any amenities that are similar to the condos, which are like fitness centers, swimming pool. The residents usually pay a monthly or annual fee to the board of directors that manages them. So they have to follow the rules, the articles of incorporation, and they have to be good stewards of their shareholders' money and interest. And you need to really check and make sure that if you wanted to ever rent this out to anyone, you can do that, because some of them have really strict rules, and you have to go through the whole board, which involves like half the neighborhood to do anything. And usually in a condominium, you only have to ask your neighbors. If it's, you have to get approval from your neighbors who own the condo or the townhome next to you for approval and changing anything. But in this type of ownership here, you have to go through half the neighborhood and get approval to do anything to your so-called house or your share or interest in the house. Shareholders don't own any real estate. Monthly maintenance fees, true. The board is responsible for all the financial policy decisions. Specific criteria for potential residents. They own a share in the corporation. Let's see if we got any of these right. You got it. There's really not a lot of advantages to this, in my opinion, but if you just want to be a shareholder and not actually own any real estate, then this would be for you. So a lot of rules and you don't even own your own property. Doesn't sound very appealing to me. It's not something that I would push on my buyers either. Okay, timeshares. Now we all know about the timeshares, right? All right, let's Misty and Nick. Let's read their stories. Okay, timeshares. Let's find out about timeshare ownership. I've also had one of these, and it took me forever to get rid of it. Okay, timeshares, ski season. Hi, I'm Misty. I'm here with my husband Nick and our timeshare unit. We spend a week here every winter in a great spot in a ski resort. It works like this. We purchase something called a timeshare estate. It's one way of doing timeshares. We own a part interest in this unit, which is part of a timeshare complex. Our ownership allows us to use the same week every year. The other owners of the timeshare get their week to use it. So you are like sharing time. You're sharing. That's a way to remember. You're sharing your unit with other people. You're sharing your time in this place. So if you forget what it is, that's why they call it timeshare. That's where that came from, timeshare. We're sharing our time in this place. We have friends that also have timeshares, but their situation's a little different. They have something called timeshare use interest. The developer owns the property, and the friends have purchased the right for a designated week. If they aren't able to use their unit in a designated week, they can try and exchange it with somebody else. It's probably similar to own a condo. There's an owner's association and fees for the maintenance. In the long run, we could sell our share just like any other real estate, but they are very tough to get rid of and to sell. I'm just going to tell you that now. And they're not talking about the disadvantages in here, but there's a lot of disadvantages in these. And as far as wealth building goes, which is our channel here, this is not something that I advise getting involved in doing. For one, if you want to take a vacation, just save up the money and go take a vacation for the week you want to go. And these condo maintenance fees, they add up every single year. They get a little bit higher. So you have to keep paying them. And it is something else to get rid of these things. They don't really sell. If you're near Disneyland, you might be able to sell them, but it's still tough to get rid of them. And you have to keep paying these fees or it will go on your credit report. So my opinion is don't do it. It's not a good wealth building strategy. If you want to take a vacation for a week, just save up the money and go take your vacation. Don't invest in these things. All right, now that's just a side note, which has nothing to do with this. But I've seen people being sold these. I have personally never sold any and would not press anyone to sell them. I would not even encourage the sale of these. All right, timeshare owners share their use of the unit with others. Yes, they can be purchased as timeshare estates or timeshare use. Certificate of resale is required when selling. You got it. You really know your timeshare ownership. Okay. So the only way I could get rid of mine was you can go into bankruptcy and or they have like a timeshare exit team, which might help you, but you're still going to have to pay over thousands of dollars to get rid of them. I mean, they're hard to get rid of, so not advisable in a wealth building strategy, that's for sure. All right. Property ownership in Maryland study tools. I don't know, this might be specific to Maryland. Okay. Please rate this section. Okay, property ownership study sheet. If anyone wants this study sheet, you can contact me on my website. I'll link it below in the comments, and I will send it to you free of charge. And that's going to be it for this video. Thank everyone for hanging in there till the end. I hope it helped you. Keep reviewing it over and over and over if you need to keep hearing it, okay? All right, see you on the next video.